Welcome to Money Moves Podcast by KTVAECU, the podcast about financial tips without all the fluff. And today we are talking about some ways to help you save a little cash.
Yeah, and before we jump in, we're Molly and Caroline, two financial marketing coworkers turned besties. We're here to help you take control of your cash.
Yeah, we'll break it down for you, hopefully give you a few tips along the way so you can start making your money moves and hopefully not put you to sleep.
Think of us as your financial hype squad, bringing you real advice, stories, and tips to help you start stacking your cash.
So let's start making
money moves.
Money moves.
Before we fully jump in, quick disclaimer, we are not financial experts. We are just two regular people. Always do your own research or talk to a professional if you need personalized advice.
Personalized advice. Absolutely.
Absolutely, Moira.
Absolutely. Moira, she's coming back.
I almost said regular, degular, schmegular.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, love that.
Oh, okay, well, let's get into our topic for today.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned on our last episode, we got to spend some time with some ETSU students, and we asked them, questions, financial topics, whatever. What are things that are important to you? And we got a lot of feedback. So, let's check out one of the students and what they have to say.
Roll the tape.
So let me ask you this. What's a money topic that you feel least confident about?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest about this. I am terrible at saving my money. I have never really learned how to budget. So I bought this little budget planner, and I have over $5,000 now in the planner, and it's really nice just to have that. Because, I don't have $5,000 yet, but I'm still working towards that goal of getting that by the end of the year. So
That's great. That's awesome. So you use the little planner to put money in and save?
it's like a little, planner that you can there's plastic seal things. Yeah, it's like the envelope. It's like the envelope challenge. So yeah.
All right. So one of the students that we heard from just now was talking about budgeting, how budgeting is such a hard thing when you're first starting out, when you're in college. Books are expensive, all the things. And I really liked what they said about the workbook. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want to kick us off for this. I know budgeting, it's kind of a boring topic.
Yeah.
And we're going to try not to put you to sleep, I promise. But we want to talk about some actual tools that you can use to help you save, that Caroline and I have used throughout our savings journey, that will hopefully, no matter if you have a job or not, however your income rolls in, maybe you can at least take nuggets from this to help you on your way.
Good nuggets.
Good little nuggies.
Yeah, hoping to pick them up.
So let's kick off with our first budgeting tool that will hopefully help, and that's the 50-30-20 rule. And we'll break it down for you, but basically it's taking the money that you're getting, whether it's from your job or if you're just getting money from side gigs here and there, and splitting it 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for savings. So let's talk about 50% for needs.
Yeah, I think the 50-30-20 is I think the standard of budgeting.
Yeah.
And such a good place to start with your percentages and
That's
stuff.
true.
But with needs, for me, needs are personally, those are the things that don't move at all in what I am being charged every single month. So
For sure.
loan repayment, rent or your mortgage or bills, utilities, anything that is a amount that you have to pay each month.
For sure.
That is my needs.
For me, it's kind of like the things you need to live.
Yep.
Like I need gas to transport back and forth.
Yeah.
I need my electricity, heating and air is really nice to have.
Yeah.
So to me, those are the things that are needs for me. Another thing that I put into the needs category is groceries. Not eating out, is groceries. But you kind of do yours a little bit different.
Yeah, I keep my groceries and my food in my wants, but I think that's just, I understand it's a need. Obviously you need food to survive, very much so. But those are more, that's a percentage I can play with a little bit more is kind of how I see that one. So whether we're spending a little bit more in the going out category because we have a trip that month, or we just don't want to spend that much on groceries, we really want to cut back. That's a percentage I see as more of a wiggle room. So it's almost harder to anticipate how much that's going to each month.
Yeah.
And I like to move it around a lot. So I kind of keep that in the wants category for myself personally.
I gotcha. But normally
it's
people put food in the needs.
needs.
Like the necessities of food, not the indulging of food.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the next category is the want category, which is the 30. So 30% of set amount of money goes towards your wants. And so these are the things that you kind of splurge on or you can purchase without, like guilt-free, basically. So for me, these are things like going out to eat, getting my Starbucks, although some days that feels like a need.
Yeah, 100%. I get that. I think that's why I put it in the want category though, is because a lot of the time I just want to go out to eat. Like I want that.
It's fun.
I don't need to do that, but I very much want that.
You very much want to. For me, also want is like clothes or like fun things I want to buy for my space or, I don't need them. Yeah. But I want them.
I want them very badly.
I want them very bad. And so I think a good tip is define what your wants and what your needs. And that can help you kind of adjust how much money you want to put in each of those sections.
For sure.
And then the last category is savings, which is the 20%. So you have your set amount of money, 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and then 20% to savings. And it's kind of comical because when we were preparing for this episode, I looked at Caroline and I was like, I'm not doing 20% to savings. Like, how can I talk about this? I'm not even following the whole rule. Like, I can't do this. But after I stopped freaking out, and Caroline was like, Molly, you have a 401k, not to mention you have a mortgage. Like, so that category, I think sometimes people forget it's not always just the 20% from your paycheck into savings. It can be. It
can be that simple. But it can also involve whatever little extra money you're throwing at maybe some extra debt that you have that you want to get rid of.
Exactly.
That counts towards your savings. So that's part of that 20% too.
I think every time you talk about like budgeting and like saving, like when I was in college, I didn't have a steady source of income. Like I freelanced a lot if I could. It just really, you're trying to get through school and get out of school is what it felt like. And so it always felt like something like, oh, I don't have a job. So like I don't have that steady source of income coming in all the time.
Yeah.
How am I going to save money? But you can apply this same rule to just like if you get birthday money or Christmas money, whatever, you're just having that conscious effort to try to do something.
Yes, 100%. And I think that goes back to where some of these percentages are a little bit flexible or your categories can become flexible. Like when I was in college, my food wasn't a want, it was a need. And that was part of my budgeting. But now, since I have the freedom to, spend a little bit more, my husband and I love to cook. That's kind of where I deviated that. Yeah. But the percentage also of those categories, don't feel bad if it has to flex over time. If you can only save a certain amount, like that's okay. That's all you can do. And it's not just starting somewhere is way more important than adhering rigidly to some of those percentages. If you can't do it right, then that's okay. Make it work for you.
And even just being conscious, like even thinking about budgeting is a form of budgeting.
Yes.
Even though it may not seem like it, because at least it's on your mind. You're trying to be aware. I've got this much money. How can I separate it? What will work for me?
That is so interesting you say that. I remember reading like the first step is really just being aware and thinking about it. Like that honestly is the first step. And thinking about it is better than ignoring it and not thinking about it and not checking your apps and where things are at. So I love that. That's a very attainable, like, first, I'm just going to be aware of what's coming in and out each month and just be more loosely aware. And then you just build on that awareness each month.
Yeah, just build on it.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's easy. Like, if I take a month or two and I don't, like, let's say, budget or at least set some goals for myself.
Yeah.
I'll get to the end of that month and be like, where did all my money go? Because I just wasn't thinking about how I was spending. I was wanting away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget the needs. So that's like just a good tip. Just start somewhere, give yourself a little grace, but just start somewhere to kind of get yourself going. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get.
Yeah.
And the more, like, you'll be able to start putting different things into different categories that work for you.
Yeah. And once you've got your 50, 30, 20 rocking and rolling, kind of building off of that, something that I do that I find really helpful is a digital enveloping system, which basically, I have checkings and savings accounts that have sub accounts attached to them, and I just move the money from my original budget where I want it to go into those sub accounts.
Yeah.
I'm a very visual learner. I'm pretty sure Molly is too. I know a lot of people are visual learners. And for me, this is just the true separation of where everything needs to go in my budget. But I'm not having to download a third-party app. Like, I know some popular ones that I wrote down were YNAB, which is you need a budget, and then every dollar, which is basically zero-based budgeting, where you budget everything that you have to $0, which is what I do, but I do it with digital enveloping.
Yeah.
And it's such a great way to organize things and to visually see what pockets are going to what and when.
Yeah. See, and that's awesome. Like, that's what works for you. I never got onto the envelope system because it just seemed a little overwhelming. Again, like when it first was like a big thing for my group of friends, I was like, this is too much to keep up with.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the 50-30-20 or some form of that budgeting.
Yeah.
But I love to hear stories of when people do use it, because I'm like, man, they made it work for them.
Yeah. I think that's my thing, is since I'm already in the apps that my financial institutions have to offer every day, checking my money, why not make it work for you with sub accounts or customization? Another thing that's huge is, let's say money makes you a little bit anxious to talk about and deal with. Well, you can automate when things come in to just go ahead and disperse where they need to disperse into those envelopes, which I know is very helpful if you're like, I don't really want to think about it. I just kind of want it to do its own thing.
That's me. I do have a sub account that I have for things, and I automatically, every time my paycheck hits, it automatically goes into that account. So I don't even have to think about it. And what's really cool are there are certain institutions that have accounts. You can set up the automation and they'll earn extra dividends.
Yeah.
So you get a little extra on what you're already doing. And it's just, you just set it and forget it type mentality.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
100%. That's what I do with my emergency savings. I have it set aside in a completely different financial institution so that I don't see it. Like I said, I'm a very visual person. So I like my savings to be apart from the other stuff that I've budgeted. So here at the credit union, I have sub accounts for all my bills where I separate. These are my subscriptions. This is what I want to put away for my pets and what I know that their monthly expenses are. This is the food that I have. My car, that's where I put my car payment and my gas. So I have all my sub accounts and I can see what I have for each of those categories. But then in my main checking account, that's what I know I have to like go have fun money with, go out to dinner, go to the movies, stuff like that. So
I'm the same way. I like to get it out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind,
that
for sure.
Because if it's in there, I might be more tempted to pull from it.
Might take a little dippy dip into the pond.
My husband, he makes fun of me a little bit because he'll ask me like a question. We'll be talking about our finances or whatever, and I'm like, I don't have any money. I don't have any. And he's like, Molly, you've got your savings. I'm like, no, we don't count that.
We don't touch that one.
We don't even touch it.
That's the no-no zone. We don't touch that one.
The no-no zone. Oh my God.
I want to also step back and touch on what the student in the video mentioned. And what they were talking about was a savings workbook that they were working through. Those are super duper popular on TikTok right now. I don't know if you've seen them, but they make like coloring sheets that you can like color the like $1, $2. And
we love a good aesthetic.
Yeah, we do. Like I said, visual learners. You can purchase those books and they'll have like a set amount. Like this workbook will get you to $5,000. This one will get you to $10,000. This kind of combines that like budgeting enveloping with the savings starting we were talking on last week.
Yeah, I agree. It's really just figuring out what works for you and figuring out what will keep you motivated to stick to it.
True.
Because like some of like the envelope system, that seems a little much for me, but like a lot of people are really successful with it.
And motivated by getting rid of like, we've checked off this one and now on to the next one.
Absolutely.
Or this is, I think it's interesting when people do, I've fallen down a rabbit hole lately of TikTok cash. People are like waiters and waitresses that do the envelope system for their budgeting for the month with cash.
Yeah.
I could watch this for hours.
Yeah. Make it fun for you. If you're creative and you want to create a book or whatever, do that. Maybe don't spend a lot on creating the book.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, that's helped me to like take it in bite size and just keep it simple. Make it easy. It shouldn't be super hard, because once it becomes hard, I'm not going to stick to it.
Yeah. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of budgeting, Don't be like us and spend $8 on a penny. So that's a budgeting tip for sure.
A tip.
Budgeting tip. Would you like to do the honors of coin toss?
Is it my turn to flip?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, coin toss is the segment where we flip a coin to see which one of us gets to give a surprise story for this segment. So it can be a real life savings story. It could be a credit card confessional. It could be a money myth busting moment like we did last week. It could be Save or Splurge hot take. So whatever the host wants it to be, only the coin gets to decide which host gets to discuss and have their choice for the flip.
Only the coin.
And the loser of the flip has to give their weekly money win.
I was like, and what?
And you were like, I'm not ready for this. No,
yes, the
weekly
loser.
money win. Loser has to give.
Yeah, is it really a loss?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, because we have to think of one.
We do have to think of one. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
You're calling out the words. I'm flipping, just so everyone's clear.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
I'm going to try to not be destructive.
Oh. Tails.
Oh! You lost.
I lost.
It's heads. It is heads.
Oh my gosh.
You got it wrong. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Not me rubbing it in your face.
Yeah, that was a little heavy-handed there.
You got it wrong. Okay, sorry. All right, for this episode of Coin Toss, I want to talk about, it's kind of a hot take. I'm spinning it into Save and Splurge section. But it's basically this whole idea of, is it worth it to turn your hobby into a side hustle or your passion? Or should you just keep it for your mental health, let it ride, just chill, like keep it for you?
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your thoughts, opinions?
I think that's so interesting. That's such a good topic for a hot take / save or splurge. I think it really, first of all, depends on how good you are at your hobby.
Oh,
that's one of the things is like, if you're really good at it, like let's say crocheting is your hobby.
Yeah.
Is it, and you're like, oh, I want to make money off of this. Like I want to do it. Is it worth the amount of extra materials, extra time, labor, blah, blah, blah? Or is it just something for you to relax with? Like, should you not do that? I don't know. That's really tough. For me personally, I should not ever spend. I should not ever spend more money to do that because I will not do that.
Yeah. If
I will not do that.
more money to kick it off, is it really worth it?
Exactly.
I don't know.
For me, that's a no. Don't do it, babe.
Don't do it.
You will not follow through on that hobby.
Yes.
You won't do it.
Listen, confession. This has now turned into confession. There was a time where I was like, cake decorating. How hard can it be?
How hard could it be?
How hard can it be?
The cake boss.
I'm creative. I'm going to start making cakes. I got my utensils and all my tools, spent a buttload.
Oh my gosh.
Tried one time and never did it again. I was like, this is too much. This is not fun. This is when it's no longer fun. Yeah. But I wasted all that money. Why are we the host of this podcast?
I don't know, but with the $8 on a penny and this, because I'm like looking at you and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'm sitting here and I'm starting to reflect and I'm like, during COVID, I definitely bought a cake decorating kit because I thought I was going to do my own wedding cake.
See? Which you probably could have, sure.
I probably could have. I'm very like, I don't know. But then again, it's like, why did I spend all that money on something that I wasn't intending to make more money from?
That's true.
I didn't have the intention to make more money from it. I just wanted to save money on my wedding. I didn't even do that. So
she didn't even do it.
I didn't even do that. I definitely bought my wedding cake. So
I think it just depends. So like when I was in college and I didn't have a job, side hustle was really helpful.
Yeah.
Like it gave me that extra income that I could have for the things to buy books, whatever.
Yeah.
Gas.
Food.
So I did like photography.
Yeah.
When I was in college for like friends and family, just to have a little source of income.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like full-time job situation because I don't know that I would have been able to do both and be fully involved in finishing school and that. But
yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it depends on what life stage you're in.
I know this was less of like a hot take than it was. I feel like just a thought-provoking question.
Yeah. It sounded like before we came on, like when we were preparing for this episode, we always come prepared with the different things in case we get the coin toss. And I was like, yeah, this would be great.
Yeah.
I knew exactly where I stood. I'm a hustler.
I'm a hustler.
But then after kind of talking about it with you, I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Well, wait a second.
Depends on the time.
Yeah, I think when I was in college, I did design work on the side too, because I also didn't have a steady job throughout college. I just went to school and I did freelance stuff. I freelanced social media a lot, even when I was like in my early post-grad days. But then I just realized it was really taking away from what I was producing during work hours, first of all, which I'm like, okay, we can't be slipping there. And I noticed, especially with social media freelancing stuff, that I just was feeling really burnt out and that being on or near my phone, which is like kind of vital to do a lot of the time, was bringing me a lot of anxiety because of how much stuff I was handling on the side. And so I just cut it out because I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep burning the candle at both ends for
think
forever.
the cool thing is though, like if, you know, because the typical like 9 to 5 job mentality, it's not for everyone. Like I would say those ideas are changing. You know?
For sure.
So like I think if you are good at something and you want to turn that into your full-time career, job, hustle, whatever, and you're not coming in and punching a clock somewhere, I think that's great. Like use your talents and your strengths to do that.
100%.
If you want.
And then post it on TikTok so we can watch it.
Yes.
So we can watch it pop off.
Absolutely. All right. What's your weekly win?
Weekly win.
I don't know why I can't say it.
Weekly win. My weekly financial win is something that I'm going to steal from Molly and she can't use in future episodes, even though she introduced it to me. And it's the Fetch app, which not sponsored at all, but it's this little app. Little tiny demure app that you scan receipts that you like you can scan any receipt and it gives you points for scanning. There are like brands that run deals that give you more points. There are little in-app games that you can play. There are apps that you can download onto your phone and play games that way that give you more points. And I love it. It's been great. And you use those points for gift cards and stuff. I use it for Ulta gift cards, which saves me money on my hair dye that I have to buy every 6 weeks.
That's good. Yeah. Well, you're welcome then.
Yeah. Thank you for both letting me steal this weekly win and for giving me access to the Fetch app.
I love the Fetch app. It's
so good.
Easy. Like I don't know what's happening and why they want us to scan the receipts.
Dylan thinks, okay, that's my husband. He thinks that it's brand knowledge, that they like want to know what consumers are buying.
Ooh, but that's a good theory.
But then here's my theory back to that is, okay, but then why would they offer you deals to buy that stuff if they just want to see what you're purchasing? Isn't that like incentive to purchase their stuff?
Like maybe the Fetch brand is associated with the brands that are running sales on stuff, so they're influencing you to buy those brands?
No, like the brands themselves are like, I'm Dove chocolate, and if you buy one bag, you'll get an extra 10,000 points. Yeah. So that's not like, I guess what he was saying is it's like they're trying to get your brand research marketing information. Yeah. Which I'm like, no, they're not. They're trying to incentivize you to buy. Their stuff. That's what I think. Yes. So two different working theories, but I don't care what you're taking information.
What is Fetch getting out of this in the end? That's what I want. Me over here hustling. I'll create an app.
I love this app. But what are they doing?
Joey always says, husband always is like, you're scanning your receipts. They're getting the last 4 of your credit card number. I'm like, everybody has the last 4 of my credit card number.
Everyone.
I don't know.
I'll get on the roof. I'll yell it from the top of the building right now.
The first episode we talked about fraud. Things that are fraud.
And I do fraud safe things all the time.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, but I just know that I get gift cards that I can use to purchase things.
All I know
just by scanning a receipt.
I get points from receipts and I love it.
And you play a game.
And I play a game. Yeah, I play this matching game, which I think Molly also plays, which gets you like extra points inside the app. And it's literally like a little box and they like dump a bunch of items and then you just like match up the items. It's so soothing.
So mindless.
So mindless. I thought you were going to say so mindful. And I was like, and demure. How nice of them.
Very mindless.
Yeah, very mindless. I love it. I find it very soothing. So that's my weekly win.
I love it.
I'll have to dig into what the Fetch app is getting out of everything more.
Yeah, maybe we'll research that more.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
You know that disclaimer at the beginning that we talked about?
Very important here.
Anyways, we are so glad that you joined us today, and hopefully you got some new tips that you can try for your savings journey and helping you starting to budget. And
and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and potentially share it with a friend, because we want everyone to be making the best money moves that they can be.
Absolutely. If you want to share a weekly win, why am I the way that I am?
If you want to show a weekly win.
If you want to share a weekly win with us that we'll read here on the podcast, you can email us at podcast@tvacreditunion.com, or if there's a topic you want us to cover, we would be more than happy to hear from you and cover that topic for you.
Yeah, and if you can't get enough of us, you can find us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at TVA Credit Union.
And with that, we appreciate you for hanging out with us today. So
keep making those money moves.